Good morning. We're in ladies' conference mode here, and Friday morning is busy all morning, and noonish, 12:30 or whatever, ending, and break for a few hours, and then the evening services, preaching, ladies preaching, and then Saturday morning. And if you missed last night, it was a great night, and we're just blessed. I'm saying this more and more. I love what I get to do, who I get to do it for, who I get to do it with, what I get to do it with. I love where I am, and of course there's trials and difficulties. There's trials that come from God, perfecting me, teaching me to lean on Him, not trust in my own wisdom, my own strength. And there's trials from the devil, trying to beat me up, get me discouraged to quit. And then both God and the devil will use people and circumstances and all, but I know I can trust God to know what's best and keep doing the things that we ought to do. But this is a great meeting, and if you've not come, I hope you'll come this morning. If you can't come this morning, come this afternoon, this evening. I think it starts at 6 tonight, 6:30 maybe. But join us and be a part of things. And it's a teaching time. It's not just a pat you on the back, make everybody feel good and go home. It's not a warm and fuzzy, let's all sing and sway and praise God together. It's how to in regard to parenting, being married, being single, being a Sunday school teacher, being a soul winner. How do I glorify God more in my life? Paul said, that I may know Him and the power of His resurrection, the fellowship of His suffering, being made conformable unto His death. Paul didn't say, I'm just working to have a good, warm, and fuzzy life where I just feel good. That wasn't it. Paul's saying, I'm looking to die. He said, I die daily. And I'm not on that today, so I better change subjects. But our ladies' conference, it's here to help ladies know how to, in this world of battle, to be soldiers of Jesus Christ. I've heard, and you've probably heard it too, I'm going to be in Timothy and in Titus this morning, but I've heard, and as you no doubt have, silly things that show up on my I don't know where it shows up because I don't pay attention to these things. Maybe text or commercials that pop up, YouTube commercials, I don't know what. Silly things like try this secret whatever and never have another hangnail, or try this, see this undiscovered herbal remedy to grow hair on a bowling ball, and another one, I've seen this, trying to get you to watch their little blurb of news, what no one else saw. Now look, the thing's being videoed by a gazillion telephones, handheld phones, and then it's got news networks, cameras on it, and you're the one that saw something no one else saw. And I just don't believe it. Now, you may have, but I just don't believe it. I mean, there might have been Martians landed in the White House, and that's why we have what we do for a president. They came and just took his brain and left the rest of him. I don't know. But, how about lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks, sucking on this unknown leaf of a tree grown in the Amazon River or whatever. That's just craziness. We used to look at tabloid headlines at the grocery store and laugh at the stupidity of them. Well, now it's all over media. That's how they get people to look at and once I see that they're being deceitful in their catchy headlines, I stop looking at them. I don't want to listen to people who are liars. And, Trump released from all responsibility, and then you go look, and it's just there, yeah, he's in court, and he's hoping that everything will be fine. I'm done listening to people. And one thing that came up recently, a Baptist preacher said, I am the first of my kind of Baptist. That really, in 2,000 years of believers of all stripes and denominations and types, and 2,000 years of people who called them Anabaptists and Paulicians and Monetists and Donatists and all these different things that were all very much Baptist. And then all the way back to the 1st and 2nd century, they were called Anabaptists. And somehow I'm the very first one of my type of Baptist, and I think, what is this, an advertising ploy to catch somebody to jump on my team and find out this is the real thing? And I think, oh, you know what? Let me just tell you about me. I am a product of great people, hundreds of great people, starting with my family, who taught me to dare, taught me to try, taught me to give it a shot. And that was even before I was saved. Then you add Christianity into that. Now I can do all things through Christ and living by faith. And then I get exposed to Lester Roloff and his homes in Corpus Christi and his stand against state intervention, and Lee Robertson, this brilliant builder, this man who built this phenomenal ministry and mission organization and college and all that he built in his lifetime. And then a Jack Hyles put more preachers out around the world than probably any other preacher, at least in our history, in the 100 years we can touch close. Every one of them influenced me. Curtis Hudson influenced me. Jack Trevers influenced me. I've got friends, whether I like it or not, they influenced me. I'm friends with preachers all around, and I get around people who are going to nudge me the right direction, who are going to encourage me to be more. And then I've got books clear back to the 18, 17, 1600s. And I'll tell you, I am a product. I heard it in college. 5 years from now, you'll be the same thing you are today, plus who you've met, who you've listened to, what you've read. And so I read these stories of great Christians who stood all the way back to the first century. And I'm the first one to admit I'm not anybody special. I remember these passages. Proverbs says, remove not the ancient landmarks. The things that were set up by our spiritual fathers and grandfathers, we're not supposed to remove those. We're supposed to hang on to those things. And where Jacob, in his prophecy about his 12 sons, he said of Reuben, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel. And over in the book of James, you're familiar, let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. He that wavereth is like the wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. And then over in Proverbs, meddle not with them that are given to change. I've done my best to be straight down the line. If you've been around our ministry, you know that. It's important to me. I am not an innovator. I'm a follower of great people who've done great things. My family values are a product of reading my Bible, but it's a ton of listening to great men and women on home and relationships and discipline. And over in Timothy, I'll just throw out a couple of things. I'm going to start in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 14. He says, continue thou in the things which thou hast learned and hast been assured of, knowing of whom thou hast learned them. So Paul says, you know me. You've known my life, my faith, my manner of living, my doctrine. So you just, verse 14, continue in the things which you have heard from me. In chapter 1, verse 13, he says, hold fast the form of sound words which thou hast heard of me. Don't just hold on to the words I've taught you, but the very form. Hold on to the style of preaching. Hold on to the way I presented truth. Hold on to the things that you learn. Watch me, Timothy. And as you've watched me over the years, I want you to model me. People criticize, you're following a man. We're told to follow a man. We're commanded to follow men. And Paul makes it so very clear. And by the way, the people who say don't follow man, they all want you to follow them. And just lie to that. People make me laugh. You know what? John 3:16, amazing verse. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12. That's not the verse I'm looking for. I've got 2 Timothy 2:2. And the things thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also. The things I heard from those, I've had basically two pastors, both in heaven now, and they were different. They were a lot different. But the things I learned from those two men, I am to take the same and find some faithful men and teach it to them just like it was taught to me. And then they are to teach it to others just like I taught it to them. This is all about following good men. It's simple. There's no way you can deny these simple principles. If you go over to Titus chapter 1, right after Timothy, Titus chapter 1 and verse 9, he says, holding fast the faithful word, and here's the statement, as he hath been taught. Holding fast. He's talking about who can be a preacher. Titus is on the island of Crete. They've had all these people saved, and Paul says that, Titus, I left you there to organize churches and to ordain pastors in each, or ordain elders, the term used, but pastors in each of these cities. And he said, when you pick a preacher for those cities, you make sure that that man is capable, verse 9, of holding fast the faithful word as he hath been taught. And when somebody bails out on what they've been trained, I mean by good people, if you were trained by drug addicts and gangsters and humans trafficking, smugglers or whatever, okay, maybe you need to change your lifestyle. But when you've been trained by good, godly people, teaching Sunday school and winning souls and visiting the fatherless and the widows in their affliction, when you've been trained by people who love the Bible and they want people to learn the Bible, don't mess with it. Don't mess with it. They've had years. See, when I look back, and you heard me say this, I don't listen to my contemporaries, but very, very rarely. Now, as I get older, a little bit more, but I still, the vast majority of the preaching I listen to, it's dead people. And there's a few I listen to. I like Tony Hudson. He's smart. He thinks, and he is way Southern. And when you're from Southern California and you listen to Tony Hudson, wow, is he ever different? But I like Tony Hudson. I like Alan Domley's frank, to the point, and point one, and point two, and I like his emphasis on soul winning and church growth, and I'm for that. And I like Tom Williams, his passion for prayer. And see, all these people around the country, I have grabbed their strengths, and I'm not as good as any of them at any of it, but I'm a better man because I had enough sense to reach out and grab proven practices. You know, it's like I'm in the kitchen. I'm going to just invent something. I'm just going to invent a cake. And I'm going to pull out ingredients, and I know I don't have a recipe. No one's ever done it like this before, but I'm just going to give her a shot. Well, it just might not turn out very good. Now, once you've done 20 or 30 of them, you might find a good one. But when you start talking about souls and families and marriages and young people's futures, I was talking to somebody, their college had gotten off, and their leadership and the college philosophy had gotten off track some. And I was talking to a very good man on staff there, and he and I talked through there during the difficulties. And he said, Brother God, I think you'll like the direction things are going. And I thought, if I put a freshman in that college, I don't have time for him. If the direction they're going, he's only going to be there 4 years. And if the school is turning a good direction, I want to know when they're at the right direction. I want to know when they're on track, not turning. I don't want to put my kids in a transitional vessel. I want us on point. I want us to know what we're doing and how we're doing it. I left a college the pastor was awesome, but there were some seminary graduates, people who'd been to seminary who thought they were smart. One of them said social drinking's okay, as long as you don't get drunk. Another one said soul winning's a gift, only if you have. And I heard one of them regularly corrected the Bible. Now, what it should have said and how they should have translated and all this nonsense. And then in the doctrine class, that was really something. Boy, this just fries me. And it's in some of our independent Baptist schools now. But I'd sit in a doctrine class, and we would, like on soteriology, the doctrine of salvation, we'd look at all these verses on salvation. And these are the verses people use who say you could lose your salvation. These are the verses people would use to say you can't lose your salvation. And they'd show us all these verses, have us memorize them pretty much. All of them. We memorized hundreds and hundreds, thousands of verses. And then that's class over. No one told us what was right and what was wrong. I'd only been saved a couple of years. I've been saved almost 2 years when I started Bible college. I want someone to tell me what's right and wrong. And if you can't tell me, sir, then I'm not going to be in your class. And I started listening to Jack Hyles on cassette tapes. And I thought, man, I want to be under a guy who says, thus saith the Lord, this is right and this is wrong and this is where we're going, straight down that line, like Lee Robertson used to say. And so I changed. I changed colleges. I didn't dislike people, but the sad thing is that philosophy is in independent Baptist colleges right now, where these smart doctrinal teachers, they're taking seminary philosophy of teaching and they're bringing it into the classroom and they say, well, we're helping the young people learn to develop their own convictions. I don't send my kids to your college to develop their own convictions. I've told them what's right. You take what I've told them and you tell it to them again and you show it to them scripturally, why we believe what we believe, and the things thou hast heard from me among many witnesses, these same commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. Hold fast the form of sound words that you've heard. And we've got to understand this book is not a go figure it out on your own book. It's a this is right, this is wrong. End of subject. And I'm just preaching. I know there's some preachers I wish could get this morning moments today. But, I'll just close with this. When I heard Rush Limbaugh say, he said, I love updates on my phone. As soon as there's a new Apple update, I do it. I want to see all the new stuff. And somehow he got in with Apple where they let him have the prototypes. That he puts things in his phone that haven't quite worked all the bugs out. Well, then someone else who's a common guy, but is an engineer, smart guy, he said, never do the updates, because he said during the prototype time, and then when they first come, the new updates come out, there's thousands and thousands of users, and a lot of these people are very smart. And they find the glitch here and the glitch here. They send the notes to the developers. The developers work it over, and then the update is ready for the common guy to use. So he said, don't do your updates right away. Now, that's two different people, and I do like Rush Limbaugh's thinking, but I don't take the early updates. I think let somebody else find all those dumb glitches. I don't want to deal with. I don't even like updating my phone. I like, once I've figured it out, don't change it. But they do. And that's the world we're in technologically. But hey, I want to encourage you. Hold fast those things. And of course, if I had a new diet, if you'll eat Wendy's fries and Frosties 3 times a day, you will lose so much weight. Now, if you believe that, you're not very smart. And I'm not going to invent anything new. And I don't know that I've ever heard any preacher in our lifetime. I've been in almost 50 years now since I've been saved, and 45 years reading my Bible every day, and I'm terrible with dates and things, but 45 to 50 years. And the pastors, evangelists, I don't know if I've ever heard any of them say, now here's something no one else knows, or I'm going to do something no one else has done. You know what? When you know this Bible and you've run with God, now look, if you were a Jehovah's Witness, you might totally change, but you're not going to be brand new. You're going to become a Bible-reading Baptist. Oh, man, I'm not going to invent something new. I'm going to, don't remove those ancient landmarks. Don't remove those ancient I like that song, Give Me That Old Time Religion. And somebody and I were talking the other day, and he said, you could change that song to Give Me That No One's Ever Done It Like Me Before Religion. And no. I want to hang on to what my fathers, spiritual fathers, and what the great church builders have done, and the people who Lee Robertson, missionaries all over the world still from BIMI, and all from the heartbeat of that godly old man. And of course, he was a godly young man. And these great preachers and great missionaries and people, I've got people from our church all over America who love their Bible, love their church. And, I'm sure I didn't do everything just right, but we got a pretty good product scattered around America. So I ain't changing. Well, I'll tell you, where did you get what you do? Well, I got what I do from these old guys. And I like John Rice, and I like Lester Roloff, and I like Bob Jones Sr., and I like these guys. And man, it's a great life. Hang on to the truth. Buy the truth and sell it not. Boy, there's a lot of great things in Proverbs. Hope you have a great day. Join us for Ladies Conference. If you can't get here, would you pray for our Ladies Conference that God would bless and make it a great couple of days. Sunday morning, we're having our Senior Citizen Day, having some fun with our seniors and some prizes and some fun things, and honoring the gray head. Thou shalt rise up before the hoary head, he says in Leviticus, and we want to honor those of our seniors. But anyway, you have a great day. Thanks for being with us this morning.